You see that? 4:51. That is 4:51 a.m. Yes, there is in fact a 4:51 a.m. I find it easier sometimes to get up very, very early and get serious work done before there are fewer distractions in the day. Anyway, and I got my coffee. I'm ready to go. Okay, this is a walkthrough video about how to do the sound and meaning assignment. Okay, sound and meaning. Okay, the purpose of this assignment, there's a couple of things I want you to think about. The importance of sound. When you hear sound, it evokes emotion, it evokes a range of feelings. Sometimes it's hard to explain why. Earlier, we did a project about nonverbal communication using symbols. This is a different form of communication. When you hear sound, even without words, it can evoke a lot of emotions. Okay, so you're going to find a sound. This can be anything other than music. I don't want music. Okay, a sound from nature, a sound from a machine, a sound from technology, something like that. Play a clip of the sound, and this can be a sound that you record yourself, or it could be something that you find online. I'm open to that. Play the sound, as much of the sound as you think necessary, and then talk about what emotions and what meaning and what significance this sound has to your life. Okay, the entire thing from beginning to end must be 1 minute. 1 minute, 1 minute exactly. That is the assignment. Okay, 1 minute. Okay, imagine you are a content producer at a radio show or a podcast of some type, and you've been given 1 minute. You're not given 90 seconds. You're not given 45 seconds. And everything is done, and you have a 1 minute slot. So you need to create something that fits right in it. Okay, now I don't care how you do the assignment, actually. I don't care what tool you use. There's something called Audacity, which is a free software platform. I mean, a free audio editing platform, very easy to use. If you know GarageBand, you can use that. I'm going to show you specifically Adobe Audition. Okay, because I know y'all have access to it. It is part of the Adobe Creative Cloud. Okay, so I'm going to use specifically Adobe Audition. I'm going to do this the simplest way possible. Okay, I don't even understand Adobe Audition fully, and there's many things that it can do, but I'm just going to show you a simple way to do it. Okay, in fact, I'm going to show you 2 simple ways to do it. So this is an exercise in how to learn a little bit about Adobe Audition. Okay, the first thing you want to do is open up Adobe Audition. Go to adobe.com, log in the way, hopefully it's becoming a little familiar to you. You may have to drill down a little bit. Adobe Audition is within Adobe Creative Cloud, so you may have to drill down a little bit until you actually find it, but I guarantee Adobe Audition is there. Okay, we got it. File. Okay, this is what it looks like. This is the main interface screen. Import. You want to import a file. This is the sound effect. Okay, I am going to use the sounds of the old arcade game Dig Dug, and I found this MP3 online where I downloaded this MP3 of some Dig Dug sound effects, and I want to make 2 tracks. We're going to make 2 tracks. One track is going to be the sound effect, and the second track is going to be my voiceover. Then I'm going to open Adobe Audition again and just simply mix those 2 files together. Okay, there are many ways to do this, but I found this to be a pretty simple and effective way. Now, this is the sound right here. This is the sound right here. Click that, and if see, look, these little buttons, we all know what they mean. It kind of shows you what the sound is. There you go. You get the idea. Now, you can simply, you have this sort of up and down selector tool. You can simply select an area, delete it if you want to delete it. If you want to copy it, Control C, and then say I'm going to put my cursor say right here. Control V, it copied it. Under effects, you can also do things like actually reverse. You can add reverb. You can do all these other things. Okay, but anyway, the point is that I'm going to play around with this until I get something that's exactly 1 minute long. Until I get something that's exactly 1 minute long. And because I do not want the sound effect to be at the same level, the same volume during the duration of my voiceover, highlight it, okay? And can you see this? Maybe I'll try to find a way to get a better image of that. This tool right here will adjust the volume either up or down, okay? Now, you should be able to sort of use your mouse to manipulate that little thing. I find it easier just to click right here. I'm going to put negative 25, see what that sounds like. And that's going to automatically lower the volume there. Or if I did plus, say, plus 40, it would make it louder, okay? You get the idea, but I find it easier just to click right in there and then get to whatever volume you want, play around with it. Oh, that's probably going to be too low. But anyway, play around with this, and ultimately what I am going to create, because this is what I want to do, what I'm going to create is a music bed where there is, I mean, I know I said no music, but what I'm going to do is create something where you hear the sound at normal volume, then it's going to drop out, and then it's going to pop back up again. And I'm going to make sure that that entire file is 1 minute long. Okay. And you have seconds marked right here. Oh, and there's, oh, and you can also like zoom in if you want to, see view, where's the view? You can zoom in, play around with the interface. Okay. So you can see, all right, it's at 55 seconds. I need something that's a little bit longer than that. Okay. So I'm going to play around with this for a little bit until I get my, till I get the sounds exactly the way I want. And this is going to be sort of the background track for the most part. Okay, now I've created under new, file new, I've created a new audio file. And this red button means record exactly the way you think it might. Now I'm going to record my voice. Now I'm going to record my voice, myself talking about what the sounds of Dig Dug mean to me. And I know that the other file that I made is exactly a minute long. This needs to be less than a minute, okay? And I did create a section the way I showed you where I took a chunk of that sound and lowered the volume. I need to create something that's exactly that same length so that this voiceover fits nicely within that. Okay, hopefully that makes sense. So I click record. This is me talking. This is just a test about me talking about Dig Dug. Okay, and there you go. I have it. I just hit stop. And again, as I showed you last time, you can highlight a section of this. Control C, either Control V, there it is. Let's see what it sounds like. To test about me talking about Dig Dug, about me talking about Dig Dug, okay? And here's what I'm, take a chunk of it. Where is that reverse? Effects, where is it? Yeah, reverse right there. Okay, so now it's backwards. It's for the fun of it. About me talking about Dig Dug, okay? And you can get pretty precise here. You can take out ums and ahs. You can paste things together. But I'm going to stop recording for a second just while I make my audio. Okay, now I have already created 2 different audio files. One audio file has my voiceover. One audio file has the sound effects / Dig Dug music. I'm going to go to multi-track now and create a new multi-track session. And right here, it gives you options for different templates. You could do none. I'm going to do podcast. I'm just going to do podcast. Okay. Just something to know. So I do podcast, and it creates actually 4. There are actually 4 here. 4 different tracks for me. Now over here, I'm going to import. Okay. Import. Okay, what I did was, here is the audio, that's the voiceover, and then here we have the music bed. Okay, if I click this, I can drag this, the first area that's marked as the host. If you're doing a podcast, they give you one area where you can put the host, you can put the interview, you can put sound effects, you can put music. I mean, you could put anything you want in here, but these labels are just to help you keep organized. Okay, so that's the VO. Now we have the music. Okay, I got to zoom in. This is zoom. Now, if I were to play these at the same time, they're going to overlap with one another, right? It's not lined up the way I want it to be. I was a teenager and I just loved playing this game at mall video arcade. So now I need to manipulate and get things to line up the way I want them to get them to line up. This tool right here is an arrow with a plus symbol, an arrow with a plus symbol, okay? If I click this, I can now, there we go, line up. So I was able to just slide that one track right there, okay? I was able to just slide that one track right there. Hopefully you can see that. Now, go back to this tool, the up and down arrow, the little, up and down line, and let's see if it matched up. The sounds you were hearing are the sound effects from the classic arcade game Dig Dug. Came out in the early 1980s. I was a teenager and I just loved playing this game at mall video arcade. Now I think the audio is still too loud, so I am going to manipulate that. Okay, the first time I tried this, my background sound effect, the Dig Dug stuff, was too loud, so I made a different version of that, imported that here. Now we are in a new multi-track session. And before I proceed, I just want to show, you know, Zoom puts too much stuff on the screen. This little control right here, hopefully you can see that, is a arrow with a plus symbol. If you click on a selection, you can kind of move the track around. You can slide it. Come on. If I click here, you can sort of move that whole thing back and forth, as it were. You can move that whole thing back and forth. See that? Okay. And again, there are other things. If you click S, this means you're only going to be manipulating this track. S is for solo. If I click solo here, now I'm only manipulating this track right here. And you can go into effects, as I showed before, and do things like, add reverb or play it backwards if you wanted to. I don't know why you'd want to. Anyway, so once okay, get off solo. I want to be able to hear both tracks. I want to be able to hear both tracks, okay? And this other symbol is very important too. This allows you to move around without manipulating stuff, okay? Once I get it to sound the way I like it, multi-track, mix down session to a new file. Okay? Multi-track, mix down the session to a new file, and I want to do the entire session. It is going to save as a WAV file. Okay, here is, I don't know if this is simpler. I don't know if this is more complicated, but this is something else you could do. If you think having a sound start and then drop down and come back up is too difficult, if you just want to have the sound at the beginning, that's totally fine. That's totally fine. I played around. I figured this out. Okay, now I'm back in the multi-track view. I'm back in the multi-track view. Now I made a shorter version. I just took the beginning of the Dig Dug sound and I have that here, okay? And this is the voiceover right here, okay? So I'm going to copy this. I'm copying this selection. I can see that it's highlighted. Edit, copy. Now if I come up to this where the voiceover is and just paste it right there, those yellow lines means a crossfade, okay? A crossfade. So I just want to hear that track. Now I can come here, and again, the sort of arrow plus tool, I can drag it. That's the way the overlap is. That overlaps quite a bit. I just want to overlap a little bit, okay? And let's see what it sounds like, okay? The sounds you were hearing are the sound effects from the classic arcade game Dig Dug. Came out in the early. Okay, so it's done a crossfade where the sound kind of fades out while my voice comes in, and then there's no sound effects at the end. If you want to do this, just again, make sure it turns out to be a minute. Make sure it turns out to be a minute. And if you save it, same thing. Well, actually, I'm going to delete that. I'm going to delete that entirely. I want that track out of there entirely. And now I can save or export or mix down session to a new file. Yeah, if you're doing a single track, I guess you could just export it. It takes the whole thing, or the multi-track mix down session to a new file will do the same thing. Okay, now maybe I fumbled my way through some things, and there's a lot more that Audition can do. There's so much more that Audition can do, but I know y'all are smart. I know you can figure it out. 1 minute audio file, playing a sound, and then talking about the sound. Okay, and then when it's done, I'm going to post this on YouTube or maybe SoundCloud. I don't think I have any space left on SoundCloud, but I'm going to post this somewhere so that I have a link that I can share easily. I think having things posted online in a streaming format is much, much easier to share than trying to send someone a big MP3 or an MP4 file. Okay. All right. Hope that helped.